Welcome to the holiday edition of the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing. Welcome your trio of hosts, starting with Audrey, the red-nosed reindeer, the abominable snow mina of the north, and of course, your dark lord of the interwebs, Grinchberto. Welcome to No Assembly Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like and subscribe.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, they can actually review us now on Spotify. They can actually give us a rating and review on Spotify, which means we can no longer use that as a joke.
Yeah, Audrey, I told you to do that. Did you not see when I said and I sent the link?
Oh, I thought you were joking. I literally thought you were joking. I didn't look at it that close.
Why would I joke about something like that?
I don't know.
This is a serious thing. This is a serious topic.
It's a New Year's resolution for me to actually post the episodes.
Oh wow, that should not be a New Year's resolution. It is literally your job.
My list.
It is your job. It's not a New Year's resolution.
It's at the top of my New Year's resolution. It's up here. It's at the very top. There's nothing above it on my list.
And nothing below it?
No.
You had one job, Ember. One job.
I'm sorry.
We can add video to Spotify?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes. What, you're looking at the website now? Is that what it is?
No, coded photography in the chat.
Oh, yeah. That's the whole thing. That's why I've been talking about Spotify video more lately, and that's one of my big plays for 2022.
Ooh.
So will this make it easier for Audrey to add her video, the episodes?
No, it's not quite the same.
More complicated.
It's like, well, let me rephrase that. Technically, all right, with StreamYard, you can download the videos of the podcast easily. And with introducing video podcast on Spotify, you can upload that. There's also, like, technically there's Spotify video by doing Anchor. There's a such thing as Spotify video.
Oh, right. But the thing is that we use that service to distribute all of our.
Well, the thing is, you can still do the video through Anchor or whatever.
No, but what we're not using Anchor.
No, but I'm saying for video you can.
You mean on top of what we're already doing? I thought Anchor had an exclusivity, though.
Anchor does not have exclusivity the last time I checked. And with Anchor, Anchor was acquired by Spotify. So
we can use the Buzz thing that we're using.
Buzzsprout for hosting that we do now for lifetime audio. Yeah, we can. I mean, again, we'll talk about it more offline and maybe in another episode, and we'll figure out the logistics and unraveling of things. Because again, even I am figuring some of that out because of my personal podcast, the Create Something Awesome Today podcast.
Yeah.
So like for me, like there's things I'm unraveling with, okay, how am I going to distribute and disseminate this, and where am I going to post things and stuff like that? Because there's a difference between the audio only version of how you distribute versus the video part of distribution.
Right.
That's the difference. Even with like re-uploading to like Facebook and things like that, there's like, so, you know.
Right.
Here's the funny thing though.
Ooh, I'm ready to laugh.
With Anchor and like the Spotify thing, they pay ad revenue, and there's not like a barrier like YouTube, and the pay is good. What? It's like good. Yeah, it's like good.
It's good.
Yeah, I talked to them about this. Like,
it's a Christmas bonus.
Yeah, in fact, actually, I was the one who put them on with Spotify for video podcast. I was the one who told them about Colin and Samir, actually, and they're now on the like homepage for it.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's cool. They're killing it.
Oh, they are. They're the future.
That's not Christmas.
What's not Christmas?
Audrey's over here changing. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay, it's one of those nights.
Oh, changing the
She's all right.
She's having fun. She's trolling.
Okay, so that's just gonna that's just how it is tonight.
This is a Christmas tradition, Romina.
Coded photography. What's up with Riverside? They actually keep hitting me up. Should I be paying attention to that?
Oh, Riverside's pretty cool. I mean, like what they do
Riverside?
is nice.
What do they do?
What's Riverside?
It's
Riverside FM. What do they do?
To be able to. It's basically what we're doing now with video. It's recording video, and it takes care of like everything. It's just one of those services.
Oh, so it's basically StreamYard?
One of those, yeah. I don't think that I'm not sure if it actually streams, but it's to be able to record in high definition. Like to be able to record podcasts and like,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including video. I'm not sure if they do live stream though, because I've not looked into that side of things.
I see.
But from what I saw, it did look pretty cool. Seemed like a very useful thing.
What makes them different?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like kind of like Simplecast in a way, in the way that you can repurpose content.
I might have to look into it more. As long as it's not a direct competitor with StreamYard, that could be interesting.
Right, but the thing is that if you're not able to live stream, like if you can't broadcast to any platform, if it's purely just a recording,
then that
platform,
would be different.
Then it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of, since we're already on the recording side of things and podcasts and whatnot, do you want to serve a little refresh of what your goals are for your podcast next year? Because we kind of talked about it near the tail end of last week's episode. And
yes,
is it going to be the same type of content?
Huh? What do you mean same type of content?
As
like as it was before, or are you going to put a twist on it?
I've done like 12 new episodes, so you should definitely catch up.
Yes.
You should just go ahead and put them on in the background and give me all
we
that.
We haven't uploaded our own episodes since April.
While she's uploading,
and you want her to
while she's uploading the episodes of the No Similar Prior podcast, she can put my podcast on in the background and give me watch time, and then she can catch up. Yeah, and give me watch time. Feed me watch time. My goal before the end of this year is to get the little bit of watch time I need to finish getting monetized, so that I can record a video about the process for getting monetized on YouTube and use that on my main channel. So now my supplemental channels will actually really help my main channel, because they will help me with more content like that. So like by monetizing the podcast channel and the music channel, I will get tons of videos for the main channel that will actually probably get over 100,000 views, because they will be definitive guides to the monetization process for 2022. Because what I will do is I'll meet the qualifications for watch time, and then I'll wait till next week, or like, because it's almost next week. Well, because I'll get it at the end of hopefully I'll get it at the end of the month, or at the end of this week or next week or something, is the qualifications. I'll apply on January 1st of 2022, because then I will literally be able to tell people the actual process for getting monetized and the approval process and how long it takes in 2022 and all the goodies with a channel that got it in 2022. See how that works?
And you'll be the first one releasing that video.
More or less.
Hopefully.
More or less, or pretty close. So like, that's why I will probably just apply right afterward, because then I'll probably get approved and granted. So it's like, okay, this is what it is. And then I'll just do it. And I'm like, yep, just got it. Here's how long it took. Document the process. Here's how long it took. Here's what I did. So, yep. So definitely make sure you're watching the Create Something Awesome Day podcast. And you can find it on YouTube if you just look for the Roberto Blake podcast, because I made it easier for people on YouTube, because I know that they won't remember Create Something Awesome Today podcast or associate it with me, even if my face is on it. So I knew that it's like, okay, my name is searched so much, I'll just use my name. But the brand is still intact. And on the podcast hosting side, I still want that, you know. So in podcast world, I'm still playing that game because my book is I'm using the title of my book, so it'll make more sense in a year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It'll make more sense in a year.
Yeah.
And so, so you asked about the content. Basically, Audrey, you've seen the chapters, and you actually helped me add the chapters for some of my book. Both of you helped me with chapters I should add to my book. I still have to add the chapter on failure, by the way. But like, because like the podcast basically goes through the themes that my book does.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's like a lead up to your book release.
In a way, but it's more like a long form. It's like, it's in the same way that the book is going to be like an in-depth of this and everything like that. The content in the podcast will be reflective of the content that's in the book in terms of a long form conversation about these things that matter in the world of being a creator and getting into the creator economy. So from a gateway standpoint, my podcast will basically, in many ways, as I keep writing all these books, it'll be reflective of the thesis in these books.
That makes sense.
I want to make it clear that we do not condone the stabbing of ducks.
I do.
So if you want to know what my goal is for the podcast, my podcast goal is consistency, and my goal is at least 100 episodes in 2022. But my real goal, Monday through Friday podcast, Monday through Friday, making it my new habit, doing what I did back in the old days when I grew YouTube, was called just make daily effing content, Monday through Friday.
So you're gonna have to make an episode. You're gonna have to make 5 episodes, right? Every week. Is that the goal? Wow.
My minimum is 100 episodes for the year, but my personal goal is
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. Just show up for work.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
My new goal is to put COVID behind me and be consistent on all the things that I really want to do. And so for me, I want to make 100 videos on my main YouTube channel, so the goal for that is that one definitely put out at least 2 videos a week. If I want to get a third one out, that's great. But it's got to be that I put out 2 videos a week. That's my minimum on the main channel, 2022. And I don't want to miss a week anymore. So I'm going to like make evergreen stuff enough in advance to back catalog to always be like 2 videos ahead. My new goal is to be 2 videos ahead all the time so that I always have a week. So if I need a week off, so make evergreen enough. I'm going to make evergreen enough content because I'm going to stick to formats that work for evergreen enough content. 15 tips, 7 steps, how to. By making that my evergreen back catalog content, it doesn't matter when I release it.
True.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm just going to stick to making evergreen how-to topical content that there's always going to be a question to an answer to a thing. And then I'll just always be ahead because that's how I did it back in the old days. And it worked. And it will work now because the thing that's different from back in the old days is my titling strategy for attention and my thumbnail strategies are both superior. So, and I have authority that I didn't have before, and I have some means of distribution. So I'm better off than I was before. And I don't need the view performance from before because that was fine. And I can do as good or better than that now. So it doesn't matter. Volume, for me, volume matters because like I only put out like 30 something videos this year and I got like 2.6 million views and made like 34,000 in AdSense off of that. So if I literally just put out 100 videos minimum next year, that I'm doing like $60,000 to $100,000 in AdSense regardless of how they perform, just because they can't perform so badly that it would matter. And I would definitely clear, like in my case, if I did 2.6 million on like 36 uploads, if I do 100 uploads, I will clear 6 or 7 million views for the year probably. And in my case, if I clear that, then I'm going to make like 90 or 100,000 in AdSense. Not that that's the only thing that matters, but I'm just putting in perspective why that doesn't sound like a big number to other people who watch all these other big YouTubers. But it's like when you're talking about like the monetary component of justifying the time of getting those views and making that content and say, oh, well, that content didn't perform. You only got 20,000 views. And so it's like, well, for me, 20,000 views is going to be a lot of money compared to someone who gets 1 million views, because someone who gets 1 million views is lucky to get $500 off of 1 million views. But for me, 1 million views on my content now represents like anywhere from 8 to 12 grand. So like for me, I don't need to get as many views as other people do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. That's what
I think the podcast, when it's monetized, is going. By the way, I think the podcast, when it gets monetized, I think the podcast can make, theoretically, with less views, almost as much money as the main channel.
Dang. Is it just because they're longer? They get like more
because
ads?
they're longer, and there is more average view duration on them, and it's not even close. And because of the topics, they'll have the same or a higher CPM than my current videos, but with a potentially higher ad rate. Because of the longer length justifies, without massive interruptions. It justifies more ad breaks, but the qualified watch time increases the value of the ads. So instead of a $15 RPM, I anticipate a $20 to $25 RPM on the podcast. And I can somewhat extrapolate that because I know Graham Stephan's numbers.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Audrey, didn't you have a podcast?
All right. I did. I want to. One of my big goals for next year is to have Create Her set up as a nonprofit by the end of the year.
Yeah.
With hopefully doing the first film festival next 2023 spring. So I want to have like the podcast be a big part of that. It would technically not be my old podcast anymore. It'd be like a Create Her specific podcast, but still like the same kind of topics. Like I don't want it to be just interviews. I want it to be just conversations with different creators about whatever it is they're up to, instead of like the same interview that we've heard 20,000 times already. So that's kind of my idea, but I guess that's something I want to do halfway through next year probably. Yeah.
So this is a question from Gabe in the audience. Do you have a strategy to stay consistent this coming year, or is the plan just to go?
When
Are you
motivation
delegating anything?
fails, when motivation fails, discipline will not. So that's part of it, like my famous phrase. But here's the thing. My sister is my personal assistant. She'll help keep me accountable. So that's one thing. 2, this new house, upstairs is rest, downstairs is work, because I have my office downstairs. Good. So like I can literally come in and essentially clock into work. So that's going to help tremendously. Because after the holidays, I will really be on a schedule. I will literally, now that the house is mostly settled now. Like,
speaking of the schedule, didn't I say that I wanted to peek at your?
I think we'll do that on the next. I think we'll do that on the next one. Because we'll do the next one. We can just do productivity for the next podcast.
Okay.
Because the thing is, I'm still working on it. I still haven't figured out what the new changing some of that stuff around.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just really nosy. I'm really excited.
Wait, Romina, what about your podcast?
Wow. Okay, way to just like turn it over on me, Audrey. You just see me quietly.
That's what you do to us.
I was relaxing.
I
was meditating. You just gotta flip it on me like that.
I want to know. The people want to know. The ducks want to know. What is happening?
There really is a duck in the chat right now, and I don't know why. Why don't you have Roberto? What happened to your sound?
No, Romina, you didn't.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, really? Okay.
Don't go off topic, Romina.
It's like, guess what? The soundboard is back.
Romina, where's your
All right, okay. What's your question? Could you ask a more specific?
What's your plan with your podcast next year?
My plan is to eventually have a podcast.
Wow. Is this a secret? Should I have not said anything?
No, I mean, I think I mentioned it last time.
I thought you did too.
Yeah. No, I think well, there's no strategy behind it yet. So wow. Okay. Mr. Strategy Blake over here. No, there's no strategy behind it yet. There's an idea of it. I have a Trello board, but I'm not actively working on it. Like my mindset is not focused on it at the time because I'm focused on my book.
Fair enough.
And so, but the idea would be, I mean, it would be great if I could launch it next year. The podcast, I mean, but I'd like to get a little bit further along with the book first, and then also have a lot of personal goals that I would like to focus on. But I'm sure you guys have noticed, but I have been posting more videos to Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes, I've definitely noticed that.
So that's
is there a plan behind that or an idea behind doing that?
Yeah, post more videos to Twitter.
I mean, is there like a purpose to?
I think.
Are
yes.
you trying to grow Twitter or
yes.
like what's the? Okay.
So yes, so the plan is to grow that a little bit more, mainly because the writer space is very strong on Twitter.
I hadn't considered that even that my own Twitter might help with that. With the
right.
book. I hadn't considered that.
Right. And writing has definitely always been my strong suit. Outside of cameras. So yeah, it just kind of made sense. Instagram is more of a visual platform. Twitter is definitely like a word platform. And so I think that combining both of them to grow interest of my brand and my projects and what I'm working on. Plus, Twitter has always been my strongest platform outside of YouTube. And so I think that as far as like the opportunities that I've gotten outside of like, you know, in the real world offline have been directly linked to Twitter. So I think it just makes sense. So that's my strategy behind that.
I see.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So just working on Twitter stuff and then my book. And then hopefully eventually at some point having a podcast. That would be kind of
do you have like I'm gonna post one video a week or something on Twitter? Or is it just more random?
I'd like to eventually get to Roberto level Monday through Friday.
Ooh.
Have at least one video a day.
That's cool.
So far I'm doing like about 3 a week.
Interesting.
That's kind of where I'm going.
Cool. That's awesome.
Do you interestingly, so like have you guys been seeing kind of like what I've been doing with the music channel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I saw the Christmas lo-fi.
Yeah, the Christmas stuff.
So yeah, I got out the Christmas lo-fi album, which is doing pretty good, especially for a compilation style. It's racking up some watch time, which is always what you want from that kind of endeavor. Definitely want the watch time. You want people, and it's doing pretty good. Again, small channel type stuff, but one of the cool things about the music channel is weirdly lately, at least for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, no, actually it'll be 5 right about now. I've actually managed for, as of right this second, 5 days in a row to publish a video on the music channel. So, in fact, actually, could one of you post the link to the newest song track in the chat for people who want to check that out, and they can definitely feel free to check out the music channel.
I already had it open because I was gonna screen share it. So I just linked it.
No, I
Oh,
was.
sweet.
So you're too late, Audrey. Sorry, but I already had it open. Yeah, I was gonna screen share it, but I'm having trouble screen sharing for some reason.
Really?
I just wanted to show the little. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably like some permissions thing that I probably turned off or something. I don't know. It's not letting me do it. I just wanted to show the Christmas tree real quick.
Oh, the Christmas one is really good.
Yeah. So I just linked that. And for the people who are listening and are not watching right now, you got to tune in youtube.com/noassemblypod and turn on notifications and subscribe and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's definitely a lot more fun to have listeners in the chat and participating and asking questions. That's probably my favorite part, is to interact with the listeners. It adds a different dimension. It adds another dimension that you don't get when you just pre-record a podcast and
Yes.
And have people listen to it.
Yeah.
True.
There's something like someone, and it was well intentioned. Somebody brought up something on Twitter when I did a tweet of make data-driven decisions, and they said, "Great for YouTube, but not helpful for leading kids through the swamp of nuanced modern ethics and the shit show of meta modernization or bathtub chaos." But yeah, great point.
What?
Yeah, no, I think they were being funny. I think they were being slightly funny. But first of all, make data-driven decisions is not necessarily something I expect kids to even understand or even think about or worry about. But thing is,
I think that applies to like to a lot of decisions.
Making data-driven decisions applies to everything.
Yeah.
By the way, even with the ethics thing, here's the problem I have with that. People, and that's why I think this person was joking, because this person likes me and this person follows me, so I don't think that was like negative or anything like that. But what I will say is this: there's a lot you can learn about life from if you actually study the analytical side of what business and social media teaches us, and what feedback, response, data, polling, engagement. When you start to really analyze the subtext of those things, you have a better understanding of the world outside of the bubble of what you think, and what your closest friends think. When you start to learn operating and listening at scale and feedback and parsing feedback through analytics, because here's the thing about analytics. Analytics don't lie because they measure behavior. People lie. They'll tell you one thing and they'll do another. But what people will give their attention to, and you measure that from analytics, tells you a lot more about the truth. What people spend on watch time and retention tells you the truth about whether or not they're engaged with something or whether they're invested in something. How people spend their money tells you the truth about what they value versus what they claim to value. Analytics and data will tell you the truth because they're measuring behavior, and people's actions and deeds will betray the lies of their words. So like analytics are truth. From data is truth. Words are lies, data is truth. Words are lies, data is truth, because data measures behavior. And the thing is, when people talk, the easiest thing to probably measure is how many times they've lied. So one of the things that I look at when it comes to making data-driven decisions is because someone can move the goalpost on what's ethical anytime they want, or what's moral anytime they want. Do you realize how many things today are permissible that were immoral or indecent or unethical just 5, 10, or 15 years ago, or were improper? Like, it's stupid.
The example that I like to give is that in about 200 some years, it'll probably be unethical for people to own pets.
Yeah.
So people,
if we keep going the route that we're going, I could see that.
I mean, at some point, maybe your descendants will look back at the lineage and they'll curse you out, Roberto, for having tugboat.
No, my descendants will thank me for their ascension and for all of the power that they wield.
I'm just saying. You don't know. There might
they'll
be
thank me for
a
being the founder.
straggler.
They'll thank me for being the founder. They'll probably try to clone me and keep a dynasty running and saying we just need his big brain, like in Foundation. We'll just keep cloning the emperor over and over.
Have you watched the whole series, the Apple?
I read the books first. I read the books a long time ago.
No, I know. But have you seen? I mean,
I watched the entire first season. The entire first season. I
haven't finished the Apple.
You'll love it.
Apple series yet.
You'll like it. You'll if you're digging it now, you'll really like it. I can't wait for season 2. But here's my thing: is like, your extreme point of that. All right, think about this. Like, ethics are fluid. Your ethics may not be the same, and your moral values may not be the same, based entirely on culture or on some other arbitrary thing. Like the morality of judging someone through the lens of like the average person versus a vegan person versus a vegetarian. That's different. Your morality is fluid with religion. If you're agnostic or atheist, your morality is not the same or congruent with somebody who's religious, who's Christian, Jewish, or Muslim per se. Or if you're outside of that, and let's say you're Wiccan, your values and ethics and everything like that might be 80% the same, but that 20% is what people will judge. Like, so if you're like being Episcopalian Catholic is not the same thing as being Catholic in a different way from a more Western value system of Catholicism. It's not the same thing to be Lutheran and to be just an average American Protestant. It's not the same thing. Being Jehovah's Witness is not the same thing. Being Seventh-day Adventist is not the same thing. Your ethics and morality are fluid. Ethics and morality are fluid, and they're fluid not in some BS pseudo-intellectual way. They're fluid based on religion, culture, ethnicity, and also individual value systems that exist in terms of lifestyle choice.
I think that to kind of bring it a little down to earth is
Sure.
Not that it wasn't.
I'd rather I'm saying don't judge people.
No.
I'd rather use logic.
Right. Something that I think is a really great advice that somebody gave to me a long time ago is to live your life and have that resonate in your work, in your projects.
Yes.
And not have just your projects be your entire life.
Yes.
I think that's really great advice.
No, I'd agree with that. I think that, let's talk about like related to our YouTube goals. The way that I'm operating might sound insane to people, but I've actually decided to, like, I was listening to a YouTube short, and I forget which musician, which rapper it was talking about Eminem and how he treats it like a job. And I think it was Akon maybe. And he was like talking about how Eminem changed his whole idea of like music and business, and like he was sitting there and like Akon was like really getting into it and all this stuff, and then it's 12 o'clock and Eminem says, "Hey man, I'm gonna go to lunch." And then Akon's like, "No, I'm just feeling this vibe right now and everything like that. I'll see you like when you get back or whatever." It's like, so then like Akon's just going, he's vibing, and then Eminem comes back, and then 6 o'clock comes, and like Akon's like, "Hey man, like we're in the middle of this verse. You taking off?" He's like, "Yeah, we'll pick it up tomorrow." It's like, and it's like, "Dang man, what's up?" And it's like, what's with the work ethic? And he's like, it's like, "Well, I treat it like a job, man. It's like nothing more, nothing less. I come in at 9, I take lunch at noon, I'm out at 6, I'm gonna be with my family." It's like, whereas Akon was sitting here treating it like art and sitting here grinding for like 16 hours, thinking that that's the game and that's making it more special, when Eminem is like at the top of the game and he's just sitting here, he's clocking in, clocking out. He's like, he's setting boundaries. He's setting priorities. He's like, "I got 2 young girls. I'm going home." And it's like,
yeah.
And like, I'm going to live my life. I'm in and out. And like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. and I'm going to make the most of the time that I'm putting in. But I'm not going to. But I'm going to make the most of the time I'm putting in. I'm not going to sit here and convince myself that more hours are worth it. I'm going to make the most of the time that I'm putting in. So he's making the most out of those 8 hours,
right?
And getting exactly what he needs out of those 8 hours. Akon's going for 16 because he's just trying to fill up the time, thinking that that makes it special, and it doesn't.
Audrey, how do you feel about that?
You need to stop. Why do you always do that?
Wow, I killed her. What happened?
Audrey, what do you think about that? The Eminem stuff when he's like treating it like a job.
In general, having a life.
What?
Wow. Okay. Were you even here, Audrey?
Yes.
Okay. Well. All right. This has gone off the rails. Freaking.
It's because you're doing the whole ASMR thing.
Okay. Okay, Audrey. Why don't you, before our podcast, before the episode ends, can you?
All right.
Why don't you walk us through some of your goals for next year?
Roberto, you missed my graph before we started.
We've all
I showed
talked.
Romina my graph.
Go on.
Yeah, I suggested that she explained the graph to you afterwards because then we would begin the podcast at like 8.
But basically, my goal for next year is to post 1 time per month. But like I don't know. I have a new. I mean, it's not new. I feel like I've talked about this before, but it's something that I want to put like more effort into each video, and I'll go into more detail later with my beautiful graph. But that's kind of.
I mean, only go into detail what you want to share publicly.
Yeah, I mean,
right now, but
my videos have always been about documenting the creative process, and I think I found a way to package them in a way that's interesting on YouTube now. And so I want to give that a go. And yeah, my goal is 1 time per month because that's, I think, realistic with also balancing.
How many hours does each project take?
Probably like 30 to 40.
If it's 30 to 40, why is it once a month?
Because I have other work.
It's going to be pretty involved. I
see.
think that if she could at least commit to once a month, I think that's better than once every, I don't know when. Right?
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, that's more than fair. Remember, I always told you, last year I told you that if you wanted to do 10 banger videos a year, then that's fine. If you're going to make 10 banger videos that are basically like the, God, what am I thinking of? It's your most popular video. What am I thinking of?
Matt Diavella?
Matt Diavella and the other one, Casey's friend. God, why am I spacing?
Dan Mace.
Dan Mace, thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, kind of. I'll go into more detail later with you. They're not going to be based on people anymore. That's something I want to kind of go away from, but I will still be making stuff on like TV shows and movies. Maybe people every once in a while, but more like styles, not just individuals.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting perspective, but I wouldn't want her to ruin it publicly. Yeah, no.
But I think
like normally I'm cool with like sharing my plans. But
this one is probably too big to like. This one is probably you should keep it under wraps and just tell me and Romina. That's fine. What I will suggest though is if you're gonna do that, you should still set boundaries because you're talking about your work. I don't think you have enough boundaries for your freelance work, which is why I think has hurt your creative.
Do not.
That's why I think has hurt your creative process. So what I think is you should schedule your freelance work and treat it the way that Eminem treats the rap game, and that your YouTube thing is the thing that you go home to because you ain't got no kids or nothing. So your YouTube is your child. Your YouTube channel is your child that you go home to, but your freelance work is you clock in, you clock out. You done at 6 o'clock.
I don't even know if that's really possible. Like, this is something I was talking to my dad about. Like,
it's possible. You just have to stick to
set the damn boundaries.
It's possible, but also I feel like with editing specifically, it's kind of expected of editors to be able to get things done whenever they need to be done by. I'm kind of
That
worried
cost
that if
extra. No, that's called that cost
it
extra.
should cost extra. I agree, but if I don't do it, they'll just go somewhere else.
I think
you need to
I
be
think
okay
some
with that. You need to be okay with people. People either want you or they don't. And if they want you, they do it on your terms or they don't. And you also just work to a level of, because the thing is, they ain't
It takes a
entitled
little while
to
to
take
get there.
They ain't entitled to. So if they ain't entitled to, like, look, you can meet deadlines and still have boundaries. And the thing is, you can still bill for off hours if something bleeds into after your off hours of doing something to meet their deadline. If something is required to meet their deadline, now it's infringing on your boundaries. Because by the way, at a regular job, if you have to work off the clock or overtime, you get paid for that and you get paid extra. You get paid your time and a half. So as a freelancer, you bill in your time and a half. You don't have to bill and itemize that was for time and a half. You have to, if there's a deadline and it requires you to work more than what your boundaries are, more hours than is permissible or whatever, then guess what you do? It's on the bill. It's that simple.
Sense. I like
if
that.
It's because that's their deadline. If their deadline infringes on your boundaries, it's on the bill. If their deadline infringes on your boundaries, it's on the bill.
Yeah.
When I charge for my brand deal, I'm billing with the idea that literally just by taking this brand deal, just by taking the brand deal, it's already outside of my boundaries because now I'm also beholden to a deadline.
You have to take into consideration how long something is going to take you. And now you've done enough projects where you should already be able to estimate it fairly well.
And taking it means saying yes to it means saying no to something else. In a lot of cases, that saying something else is saying no to your own projects, you having anything resembling a life, and it's saying no to even having extracurriculars or hobbies that don't involve video at all. That's a lot. And you're doing it in the prime of your life. Guess what? That's on the bill.
Yeah.
It's on the bill, homie.
Now that makes a lot of sense. Like overtime definitely needs to be addressed here because my hours make no sense.
Yeah. Well, you are in control. You are the freelancer. So your hours not making sense.
I think I've just been scared that like people would not want to, like if I'm doing this, but other freelancers
for your freelance stuff, did they come to you or did you pitch them? Did you pitch them or did everyone come to you?
They came to me.
Exactly.
Okay, right. So there's no, I know what that's like, but you have to just set those boundaries and you have to just be like, no, this is what it is. And you either join me or you take the highway.
Audrey, you're acting like there's some abundance of YouTube video editors that are cheap and good and fast that are available and that people know who these.
There is not. Like I feel like the more I talk to people doing this, they're like everyone who's good normally will get scooped up by like one creator.
Everybody is being absorbed by the market because they're being scooped up either by agencies, editing houses that other YouTubers start. YouTuber content houses are popping up and they steal all the editors. Big YouTubers who blow up, the minute they get cash, they buy out all the editors. Mr. Beast scooped up most of the best editors in the business and he's splitting them with 3 other people. They have the best editors in the business have a stable of 5 big YouTubers that they work for, and that's it. And a bunch of them are training people to take up their workload, and that's it. And it's still under contract for that, and they don't have time for other projects. And the thing is, they aren't loyal to clients because they just do small projects until they can work for big YouTubers, and that's it. They're expanding their team, and that's it. You're in demand. You also have your art, your style, your perspective. You're in demand. People are coming to you. It ain't it ain't a thing.
I'm raising my rates next year. I'm excited.
Besides, if you ended up in a spot where it's like, if you ended up with a spot where you decided you didn't have enough work, you can come, like, you can take some work from Create Awesome Media. Like, I ain't got no shortage of videos that could just be taken up. I could just because if you're going to edit all my stuff, I can just pay you, and I could just, if you for real, just
I think that
if
you ever got to that
I'll
point,
just make video. Yeah. I'll
if
just
you
make
ever,
videos and you can edit them.
Right. If you ever got to that point where you just, which I don't think will happen, but if you did get to the point where you just were losing work because, you were setting boundaries, then I think that you have a network that's strong enough that if you just reach out.
I think that's what I'm grateful for this year, because I don't think at the beginning of last year I could have said that. like now I'm more okay with like saying no to clients. Like before I couldn't do that. So
Yeah.
I think the people I work with now would be okay with me setting more boundaries, and honestly they're kind
Yeah,
of
I think it's a really good place to
where
be.
they have to.
No, and then the thing is too that you're also when they spread the word, which is it's going to be word of mouth is going to be your number one referral.
Asset, yeah.
And eventually, like you don't want people to be like, oh yeah, I hired this like really great editor. She charges $20, you know, for one video.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no
because
one
that's what
brags.
people are going to say. And then that's what those are the clients that you're going to get. But if you're just like, no, like, you know, she works with you and the price and all that stuff, then you're going to get you're going to get better clients. You're going to get people who will respect your time and who will value your work because they value their money.
Yeah. That makes sense. I will definitely do that. I hadn't thought about charging for overtime.
Because there just isn't a way around it. You are either spending time on something or you are spending money on something. That's just how it is. That's how how the world works. And so if you are spending too much time working on these projects, which is great because you're making money, but you are also spending less time working on your own projects, which eventually will allow you to make the same amount of money, if not more, with less time invested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So long-term goals.
Think about it like this.
Yeah.
What by spending 2021 really focusing on like my life priorities, what happened was, yes, I got less views on my YouTube channel. Yes, I grew by less subscribers. Yes, like on a surface level, someone could think my channel was in decline. And what happened was my life got better, as you've literally seen. My life got much, much better. And I made much, much more money, like by a tune of how much, like about roughly, I would say 20% more over last year, I'd say is about
nice.
Like, yeah, about roughly 20. Nope, I take that back. Yeah, no, it's 20%. It's not 30. I don't think it's 30. Wait a minute. Let me do some quick math. Hang on.
Yeah, but are you taking into consideration this is everything, right?
Yeah, I'm everything. Yeah, it's about 20% more money. Like whatever the difference is, no, actually it's a little bit more than that. Whatever the difference is between 300 and 375, whatever the difference is between 300 and 375, that's like, so I think I want to say that's like 25% more. I want to say that's like 25.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The same thing
Something.
happened
It's
to me
20,
too.
25. Yeah, it's 25% more. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
How much videos did I make? I made like, I made probably 30% less content. And yet I made 25% more money. And on top of that, my life got maybe 60% better in terms of health, in terms of having time to focus, in terms of getting my big life goal, one of my biggest life goals, getting into this house. I was able to do that by toning down my emphasis and focus on just getting out YouTube videos and addressing real things in my life, my health, my fitness, my habits, getting my financials in order, focusing a little bit more on my business relationships, my investing, network stuff. I was able to get a new product out. I was able to build more brand relationships. I was able to move past some of this like COVID stuff. I was able to get my mental health better. I was like, which is immeasurable in terms of its value. And I was able to more work-life balance. The thing that is part of the shift in my new schedule is the fact that now I have the separation of I can go up to my room and I'm no longer splitting my room with an office. I have a dedicated office now. That's meaningful. That's a different life situation and transformation. That means that I can do my daily routine without, like, it's easier to separate my self-care from my work than it's ever been. And that's going to be best thing that, like, there's no amount of hustling this year that would have made my life better than the focus on my habits, my self-care, and dealing with family stuff. Like it's not even close. There's no amount of working harder and hustling that would have been better than focusing on that for this point in time, so that I can, because now, guilt-free and much easier, I can hustle the hell out of 2022 with no regrets and with reckless abandon, because I'm set up for it and it won't hurt nearly as much to do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Plus, you left the house. Went out the other day.
Yeah.
Accomplishments.
Yeah. Goals, right?
No, yeah, definitely goals. And the same thing happened to me as well. I mean, you take a look at my channel and you think that it probably died, but I'm living now more than ever, right? It's, I think there's steps to everything, and kind of like taking, being focused and being intentional, right? It's just like you mentioned that you made less content, but that you were more intentional about it. And so
facts.
I
The
think
views
that
per
helped.
upload were better.
Right.
Yeah. The views
Yeah.
per upload were better. And now that I want to go quantity, I will be doing it, and it will now not even be close.
Right.
It's the same thing with doing the podcast now. I found, this is what's going to work,
Mm-hmm.
and that is meaningful. And so there's this, like, the taking the time to refine something can be more important than just doing a lot of it. So I agree even with your strategy, like, Audrey, of like, you're going to go, like, because the thing is, here's the thing. You might there's a couple of things. Quality over quantity can be client work too,
Yeah.
Quality
That's what
over
I try and
quantity can be
do.
client work too. But guess what else it can be? It can be the number of hours you put in too.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go quality over quantity, you might as well not limit it to your YouTube uploads. You might as well apply it to other areas of your life.
Yeah. I'm trying to do that with clients, like trying to only get a low amount that I really like, and that the videos I learn from, like the process at the same time. So it's like the best possible use of my time, basically, is what I'm trying to do.
So that's smart.
Yeah.
Being ruthless with your time, being more focused on where it serves you best to put that energy. Because, like, it's not like you have unlimited energy. So makes total sense.
Yep.
Connor straight up counted the amount
I
of
feel like
ring.
that's ridiculous. No, Roberto, your whole thing about like taking the year to kind of figure out your stuff, I feel like I kind of did that also in 2021 without being aware that that's what I was doing. Like just getting my freelance business going and building my network so that now I feel more stable and comfortable to not only just like financially, but also with my own content. I feel like doing my freelance work has in a way helped a lot with my own content, like develop that and like learn different perspectives and get inspired and just learn how to be like a better editor and creator and get
Other
hands-on.
techniques, speed, all of it.
Yeah, just more information from different types of creators and people. So I'm kind of glad, like because I've been making videos for a while. Like I've done a lot of trial and error, and I still want to keep doing trial and error. But I think last year it was better trial and error for me to be focusing on my freelance stuff and that content in those videos than on my own channel when I'd already done so much trial and error and the type of stuff that I was doing. I didn't really have like a next step ready to go. So I think that was the best thing I could have been doing with my time. And now I do. So that's why I'm excited to tell you more about it and actually like start posting regularly again and doing more trial and error.
So someone in the chat called you out earlier. Someone in the chat called you out earlier and said that your goal for this year.
Oh, that's
was the same as last year.
It's wrong. My goal last year was to post 4 Playing with Fires, or it was like 2 Playing with Fires and 2 vlogs per month. So it's not at all the same. This time it's 1 time per month. So
okay. And so with that, it's also like,
just
I think
doing that
like,
wrong.
yeah, because it's not the same. And yeah, all right. So sure, you didn't necessarily meet that goal this year, but you
But I'm kind
also
of glad that I didn't.
exactly.
Uh-oh.
I
You're being
to see the
called out.
receipts,
No, it's
'cause
I
I
want
did
to
not
see the
remember
receipts
that.
as well.
oh shit.
Where's the receipts at?
Send
I
us
also don't have my
the
phone.
receipts.
No, I know that like at the beginning of the year I did say that, and then maybe I changed it when I realized that was not realistic at all.
I think this new goal is more realistic.
Yes,
Knowing
I
you
think
and
it's
your
actually
schedule and the kind of
doable.
content it'll be, I think it's more realistic.
Yeah,
I agree.
because I think like a couple months ago I was saying how I wanted to do shorts in between, and I still might experiment with shorts here and there,
I
but
would
it's
definitely
just not like I have like a priority hierarchy. It's definitely under the YouTube videos, just because I have a limited amount of time. So I definitely want to try doing shorts, just like see what works and what doesn't work, and then go from there. That's kind of my short strategy.
like
To pop in every once in a while.
like shorts. YouTube is aggressively pushing shorts.
Yeah.
And your existing back catalog of content would lend itself well to the entertainment driven shorts audience type scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably could do that. It's just again, it's a timing thing, amount of time issue. And I don't want to source that out to someone because I don't know, I feel like I just end up doing it myself. So I don't know. But that's another problem. It's not at the top of my priority list. I want to focus more on YouTube first. He's admitted defeat. I am correct. I did not say once per month. I think I definitely said like 2 times Playing with Fire and then 2 vlogs. And then I maybe changed it later because I changed my mind because I realized it was dumb. So, but definitely at the beginning of the year, I said 2 and 2.
We got the goal police in the chat.
Yeah, really. Jesus. Roberto, I want to show you my graph. Romina said it was beautiful.
Wait, is it something you want to show me that we can show the audience?
No.
Or is it
No.
Okay, don't. Like, yeah, we'll see. We'll do that afterward.
No.
You can definitely show me afterward.
Well, do you guys have any last words? I mean, we've been going for almost an hour, so we can do last words. And
I mean, for me, the big theme for 2022 will be my grand return to consistency. The thing that my channel has lacked for the last 2 years has been consistency. Because like I hustled hard at the end of 2020 because I was sprinting to the goal of 500,000 subscribers because that was my stretch goal for my entire YouTube career. So to get it out of the way before 2020 and before 2020 ended was meaningful to me on a level of, again, I don't, in general, subscriber goals, you know how I feel about them. But this was like my quote unquote like lifetime achievement award. 500,000 was like my, oh, this will never happen. So just getting it after everything we went through in 2020, it meant something to me to just hustle and sprint and grind my way to that goal and to rally the community to say, just put me over the top on that one. If you're ever going to do any favor for me, do that. So, but now, and so in 2021, having achieved basically my main YouTube lifetime career goal, which was always 500,000, whereas for a lot of people it's 1 million or whatever, but for me 500,000 was my, oh, that'll never happen. Like I never believed in it. So and now that I'm past that, it's not as meaningful to hustle for subscribers to me. So now after that, it's true life goals. So 2021's life goal was get into this house. Life goal, become a homeowner. It was like one of my last like steps in like my setup for financial freedom goals, and like, oh, feel like an adult and feel like I did something kind of thing. Cause like I won the whole, okay, like I never got my degree. So it was like that. Okay, probably never going back to do it. I'm never probably if anything, I'll get an honorary degree. It's like, oh yay, you are massively successful or well known, and we want to get your clout for our college. So here's your degree. Like that'll be how I get a degree. It's like so the yeah, this like, okay, instead of going into debt to get a degree, I'll just become a millionaire and then they'll give me one. So the
Facts.
yeah, so like yeah, kids like don't go into debt, just make money. Like that being said though, so for me it was like, okay, that's a check in the box that I'll never really probably get, but I did everything else right in life. I built myself a successful career. I built myself a successful business, even though it took a long time for people to respect me for it because they kept expecting me to fail. And I did the thing that people say, oh, make 6 figures. So now I had a way to legitimize my success. Oh, well, make 6 figures after taxes. Okay, check that box too. So like I did these things to prove that I'm successful and that I could be successful. I did the debt-free thing for a while. And I'm like, okay, there's reasons to use credit cards and use debt and get mortgages and do that. So then I went ahead and I'm like, okay, I'm a homeowner now. I've achieved the American dream. I have time freedom. I set my own schedule. I am my own boss. And now I don't answer to a landlord. The last entity that has real power over me is the federal government for now. So like literally I've emancipated myself to the extent that most people can for the most part, aside from true total financial freedom in terms of owning your house, no mortgage, and a fully funded retirement that'll take care of you at a reasonable rate of your current lifestyle to, the end of your lifespan, right? So like those are like the only 2 meaningful financial goals. Everything else is a merit badge, right? Aside from that at this point. So now the only things that I can do that make sense are truly personal lifetime achievement goals. So what does that look like in 2022 for me? Well, part of it is one of the best reasons to be consistent in my content, doing my podcast, doing the main YouTube channel, is that it helps me launch my book that is about like the thing that I'm pouring my heart and my soul into in terms of like what it takes to go on this journey, what it takes to do it, why more people should start creating and really believe in it, and what can happen if you do that. So it's like writing this first book. Well, the momentum of my content and my platforms are necessary to make this book successful because this book is me basically bringing my child into the world, much in the same way when I launched this YouTube channel, it's kind of like that. So that's the big thing is everything in 2022 for me revolves around everything I can do that helps me successfully birth this book, right? And put it out into the world. So that's where my energy around all this stuff that I'm doing is to be able to help with the momentum of bringing that book to life and giving that to my people, and that's going to be out there. And then I have other goals and other plans, but my main thing at this point is it's really focused around personal life goals as far as like achieving some lifestyle things with like work-life balance, fitness, my workout stuff, losing the weight again from COVID, so that's a part of it. So that part of it was the productivity stuff that we're talking about in the next episode. It's getting this book out. And then it's also feeling like closer to my community with my podcast. So that's another part of it is getting back to my roots. So getting back to my roots, writing gets me back to my roots. Doing the podcast gets me back to my roots. Doing the stuff that I'm doing right now with the brand deal starter kit, making products again, the stuff with my coaching and speak. It's all about getting back to the roots of when I started my career and getting back to where I began.
Yeah.
Because it brought out the best in me. So it's like, that's what I want to do.
No, I think that's really good. I like that the word of the year is consistency, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that for
we all yell at each other.
Oh my God. Well, let's not be violent, but I think we get enough yelling at each other on a daily basis for other things. But I think that for me, it's reaching new heights. I think that's my overall goal for next year, both personally and then also with work, is just to go big or go home. Right?
That's good. I think mine is also to have fun while creating. Like, not only just trying out this new stuff, but actually, because I think at the core of it, if I'm not having fun while I'm making it, then there's also no point, and also the videos aren't going to go anywhere. So
That's what Ali Abdal says. Yeah.
I like
That
these
his-
three things. We should like post them
Okay.
on our thing. We should make a banner.
Wait,
what was it?
Maybe Romina does a draft of that. Maybe I'll do a version of it, but like, one of us can do that while you make sure that we upload the audio
Yes, that's
consistently.
No, forget fun. I'm putting the uploading NARP is at the top of my priority list. It's above everything.
Yeah, well,
else.
you did promise someone on Twitter.
I just did, so now it's set in stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put something on Twitter, it's set in stone forever.
Yeah.
That's how it works. It's a contract.
That's how things work.
Oh, facts.
Uh-oh. A text was found. A certain text has been found.
no.
Receipts are coming out.
Well,
Oh,
too bad I
Lord.
don't have my phone.
He's going to send it over DM.
No.
Wah, wah, wah.
We need a timestamp as well, because I said I changed my mind.
Oh, so
Oh, man.
that's the real context. Oh, so there's context. Okay. I see how
There's
it is.
always context with these
Context.
things,
Mhm.
Roberto.
Context, nuance. Oh, those
But
things
you know,
don't exist.
it doesn't matter anymore.
Context and nuance, you say. Oh, how childish. How naive. Context and nuance. Rubbish and poppycock.
Those words have been removed from the 2022 dictionary.
The 21st century lexicon altogether.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I made one.
Yep.
Wow, it's
yep.
beautiful. It's fun, consistency, new heights.
Uh-huh. Also, for me, again, like one of the things is between the end of this year and the beginning of next year is getting two of my other channels monetized.
You mean in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, I think one of them will be in the next 2 weeks. I think the other one might take a little bit longer. It just depends on what I put out. The music channel will take longer depending on what I put out. The music channel could still be another couple of weeks, like could be a month, could be another month, just depending on what I put out. If I put out more 10-hour compilations, then yeah, the music channel gets there a lot faster. Because both of them honestly only need 500 more hours. The podcast seems to be getting 200 hours a day, so that's happening. The podcast gets 200 hours a day, so that's happening. The music channel, it looks like I need to put out more like long form music, and then that's what would get that channel over the top, because the music channel doesn't get like 100 or 200 hours a day like the podcast does. The music channel averages now somewhere between 5 and 10 hours a day. Good days are 20. So I need more of you listening to the music channel and just playing it in the background all day. That would help me out. But yeah, so with that, the music channel, I could see it taking the podcast channel, I could see taking another week to qualify. The music channel, I could say taking a couple of weeks to qualify. I could see it taking 20 or 30 days at this rate, just because of like, if it only got 10, if it did consistently get 10 hours a day, it would still take like almost a month to get monetized, to get qualified for monetization. If it gets more than that, which the only way I can see that happening is if I do like more 10-hour loops, like of compilations, sure. But as it stands, yeah, that's like a little bit, it's a little bit harder to do.
Yeah.
But the podcast easily. The music channel, it's a little rough. Next year, though, because by the way, my other side channels will get some love. It'll be easier, even if I have to hire some help. Like
Right.
it'll for the editing stuff, it'll get easier for my side channels because with me, like if I'm because by not doing the main channel as like not grinding the main channel daily, I can actually get energized by not grinding the main channel and making the main channel like, okay, 2 videos a week, doing them in advance by shooting 2 and 2. I can make that manageable and I can make that like not a chore. And I could probably, if I needed to, even outsource the editing on that. And then I could use these other things to just keep me energized because they're more fun.
Yeah.
So like if it came down to it, what I would do is I would make, as in film, my main channel videos, have someone edit my main channel videos, do 2 of them a week, outsource the editing, making it easier to film, making it easier to stay ahead. And then I would do stuff like my camera channel and the vlog channel, the podcast and the music channel. And I would just be in charge of those because then that's like more fun and less pressure.
What I
So,
my Wi-Fi just cuts out for no reason and then comes back.
because I'm taking off all that. Well, you're not in Georgia anymore.
Yeah, I'm in a different.
Yeah, she's in another
country right
country.
now. The entire East Coast, kind of.
Taking up all the internet, all the bandwidth.
Oh, God.
Well, speaking of adages, do you have an outro for us?
Yep, I can do that. I should commission an intro and outro song, to be honest with you. I might do that.
That'd be so funny.
I will. I'll probably just like pay someone on Fiverr. And I've got a funny.
It's gotta be
like,
a
well,
rock
not-
song.
it
Really
can be.
intense. Very
It can
intense.
be. Go like Joe Rogan's intro.
Like go hard.
I don't know what his intro is, but something.
Yeah,
or
let's
it's
go
his
hard.
outro. And
loud.
actually, his outro is like almost like metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
The great. We need the contrast, you know.
I'm good
The
with
contrast to your voice.
it.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. Anyway, thank you for listening to No Simply Required Podcast, a podcast about nothing and where we take turns dunking on Audrey Ember. Tune in next week when we talk about goal setting and productivity and better habits in 2022. You can leave us a review on Apple and Spotify, apparently. So please make sure you're doing that. Give it 5 stars. We will catch you next time. This has been your trio, including Audrey the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the abominable Snow Mina of the North, and of course, Grinch Birdo. Catch you next week. Stop.